Welcome to the Talking Archive. My name is Josh Jacobs, and it's an honor to have with me my guests. They're the proprietors of This Is Hard to Read Productions, as well as Oddity Improv Troupe in Franklin, Tennessee. They're also celebrating their 16th wedding anniversary this week. And I'm talking about Chris Guerra and Kelsey Cook. And they both co-wrote and star in the recently released mockumentary Reopening. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
What an introduction. Wow, that's the best introduction we've ever gotten.
And Chris, you star as Roger Bastian, in addition to co-writing as well as directing the film, co-directing that is. And then Kelsey, you play Penny Davis, and you've just finished directing the upcoming comedy film Back to Bridgewood. Now tell us about your backgrounds, both of you, and what inspired each of you to get into entertainment.
Yeah, so I was a part of the Groundlings Comedy Theater in Hollywood, and we grew up, acting for many years. Got a musical theater BFA in New York, and just have always loved comedy. I really found the true joy when I got into improv.
Yeah, and I've had an agent since I was 7 years old. During the pandemic, we decided we wanted to do something with our time in lockdown, so we actually co-wrote the film with our buddy Matt Coffin. And then I produced the film, which was a first for me, producing a feature film, and now, producing and directing this upcoming feature. And so this was just an adventure. I've been in the film industry my entire life, and when Chris and I met, we decided to venture into theater as well, and we did that for a while. And
now we're venturing into writing feature films, and
our production company now.
We're writing partners, and we're married.
Hey, there we go. For 16 years.
That's right.
Something's working.
Yeah, definitely. And who are your favorite comedians growing up, Chris?
Will Ferrell, hands down. I love that Will Ferrell and Jim Carrey. I'll talk about both, but I love that Will Ferrell can be likable even when he's mean. There was something about that I went, how do I do that? I want to learn to do that. And I love that Jim Carrey was so physical, where he wouldn't be talking and people would be laughing. So I like to say that I kind of play a mean character that's likable, and also I fall a lot. So I think I took both of the worlds.
Have you broken any bones yet?
No, I've rolled my ankle probably 6 times.
Oh. And Kelsey, now your parents are producers, Phil and Kathleen Cook. He's the only producer in Hollywood with a PhD, I think.
In a PhD in theology.
And so you got to grow up being in the industry. What were some of your favorite films? Well, some of your dad's films. What was it that stood out as far as? I mean, he's done a lot of them, but what was your favorite or most memorable that he did that inspired you?
I saw so much growing up. He did a few that I was lucky enough to be involved with. He did a Millennium special with Michael W. Smith and Kathy Lee Gifford, and has really great relationships with those guys. And I really got to know what that meant, all the producing and even directing that he did. The Millennium Chorus was really cool back in the day. And we got to fly actually to Nashville. We came here where we are now, funny enough. So I feel like I've come full circle.
That's great. How long have you been in Nashville for?
It's a year.
Yeah, we actually, funny story, filmed some of our B-roll out here for a reopening a couple years ago, and never knew we would move out here.
Yep.
And we ended up moving out here.
We just loved it.
Well, it is a beautiful town. I went there for the first time 2 years ago myself. A friend of mine from Louisiana was visiting with her daughters. They went to the K-Love Music Festival. And so whenever the festival wasn't happening, we were hanging out. And the day before they came, I arrived, and David Sams from Keep the Faith, his producer Denise said, you got to go to Franklin. I said, okay. And I went there and loved it. It felt like the real life Main Street USA. And most of the shops there were mom and pop. There was like only 2 chains. One was a pizza place that's I forget which one, and then Mellow Mushroom Pizza. So they're both pizza places that were the chains.
There's always a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Franklin Franklin, though, is really exploding with talent and entertainment. I mean,
It is.
We're opening an improv sketch comedy theater and school out here, and we see Broadway tours coming through here now.
Studio 10 is bringing Broadway out here.
Yeah,
there's some amazing production companies headed this way, so we're very excited.
Yeah, and is that your production company, your improv production company? Is that in downtown Franklin, that Main Street USA type of area, or is it elsewhere?
Oddity Improv is actually currently at Insight Studios, which is in Franklin, but we are permanently moving to the Factory, which is a really cool area where they have the Franklin Farmers Market. Studio 10 will be there as well. It's going to be the center of entertainment in Franklin.
Yeah, and our goal is not to change Franklin. I think the locals need to hear that. Our goal is to elevate the film community. We want to share our talents with other performers out there and get people to take an improv class, even if you don't want to pursue acting. It's just such a great skill to have for meetings and everything like that.
That's the interesting thing about improv is that you don't have to have acting skills, like you said. And some actors are not very good at improv, and some improvers are not very good at acting either. So,
if you're good at letting go control, then you will enjoy improv. But if you're a control freak, you need to stay away.
Now, your production, getting back to reopening, how much of that film was scripted and how much was improv?
Yeah, we had a 30-page outline that we developed from start to finish. We had the story down. However, scene to scene, we would improv. So we would kind of say, this is the premise, this is what the scene is about. And we also developed characters really specifically. So we all knew who we were playing from the beginning. And scene to scene, we just said, go.
Yeah, just like our character-focused improv school, you have to focus on characters first. So, we worked with our buddy Matt Coppin, who also co-directed, co-produced, all that stuff. And we focused on characters, which meant that when the actors finally came together to really start doing scenes, it'd be like a 15-minute scene improvising, gets from point A to point B. We go, okay, let's do it again, but let's shorten that to 2 minutes because the film can't be 5 hours.
Well, you could do it a mini-series, right?
Yeah, that's true. Actually.
Or do the director's cut mini-series version down the line.
Yeah.
We definitely have lots of outtakes.
Yeah, those are coming soon.
Oh, awesome. That would be great. I can't wait for that one. Now, you said that your character, Chris, was inspired by playing Olaf in the Frozen production on the Hyperion, I think, was it Hyperion Theater, I think it was?
I was the Olaf puppeteer at Disney's Frozen. It was almost a $40 million production, and I had the pleasure of playing Olaf, and it was great. And, I don't want to single out that director, but that director, along with many directors I've worked with, I kind of combined them and initially performed a sketch where a director's teaching all these Elsas how to do Let It Go. And really fun. And then I thought, well, it'd be great to use this character. Since we know the character works, that's very important. The character works, right? So then we put him in this film. And again, that's also what we want to do is let's have an improv school where people can create characters and then use them in film or use them in TV or use them in sketches or musicals or theater or whatever. It's just such a great platform for that.
That's great. And what was it about, Olaf that inspired Roger Bastian besides that? Anything else?
Yeah. I mean, it's been years, so I can talk about it. Yeah, I had a director that would you could tell he always wanted to get up and teach the girls Let It Go, but when he would teach them he would do the whole song. And you don't need to act out the whole song. You can just give them a note and then let them do it. But he would get up and do the whole song, and we went, I think he really wants to be Elsa. So that's kind of a fun character to go, let me show you how to do this, and I'm going to rehearse for 5 hours, even though I'm never going to play the role. Let me show you all how to do it. So that inspired that.
Now, Kelsey,
love the guy, very nice guy. We all have our fun quirks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as Kelsey's dad one time said, embrace your inner weirdness. And Kelsey, what inspired your character of Penny Davis?
Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking about that, and we actually, when we said, where do we want to set this movie, I thought of, I know this little town in Tennessee that's big on entertainment. Pigeon Forge was definitely a huge inspiration, and so for my character, thinking about all the Southern late girls that I have been friends with over my life, I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My dad's side of the family actually is from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I have deep roots in the Southeast, and so I in the Midwest too. And so I just knew that combined with all the women and the girls that I've met throughout my life, that this was going to be Penny Davis. So yeah, definitely inspired by my family.
Wow. And I knew your dad was from the South. I've forgotten where he was from. Is your mom from the Midwest then?
My mom is originally from Las Vegas, Nevada, but they met at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa.
Wow.
Yep.
Things you find out every time. And
that's right. I'll give you the inside scoop.
Sounds good. Let's do it. So also this film, it came at a time, obviously, the pandemic was a very divisive issue, unfortunately. And, you know, what did you do? What was the challenge for you to see that this would be a film that people left, right, and center together could laugh at?
You know, we rode the line every day when we got on set. We said, okay, are we making fun in a mean way, or are we just holding a mirror up to society? And is there joy in these scenes, or is it depressing about people dying? We didn't want to live in that world. No one wants to watch that. So we thought there is a way to ride the line and not pick a political side and just comment on how wild of a time we went through. And we leave the viewers at the end of the film with hope, where when people work together, doesn't matter any way of life. I don't care about political background, status, rich or poor, it doesn't matter. When times are tough, you got to work together to get through it, and that's what this film really sheds light on.
You know, and it was also shot at a time where it was kind of the height of the pandemic. None of us really knew still what it was, how to fight it, what was good or bad. You know, what if testing was even accurate, or what form of testing was best, and things were happening. We were actually incorporating things into our film as they were happening. Some of the funniest things, like the testing and the CDC guidelines and things like that, we were just incorporating because those were real things that were happening at the time that were just funny, and that was because, you know, the situation that we were in. And so I think a lot of people that were viewing this in the film festival circuit when we had that out last year, all around the world would come up to us and just say, hey, thanks for allowing me to laugh at this. I really needed this. I needed to, thank you for, giving me permission to laugh again.
Yeah, it was funny because I noticed one of the scenes where the CDC representative was wearing glasses and a mask. Yeah. And the other day I actually saw somebody wearing sunglasses and a mask. I'm thinking to myself, how do they not run into anything? It was such a way that, does this person have like X-ray vision or something? Is this, one of Superman's cousins or it was just...
And, we need to laugh at ourselves. I feel like comedy's gotten to a point where we have to be so careful to not offend. And comedy is all about, I'm going to mock myself, I'm going to mock you, I'm going to mock everyone. We need to laugh at ourselves, right? Do something silly, do something bizarre, laugh at it. And so, again, it's we're passionate about how we made such a funny film that doesn't offend any side. Yeah. Everyone can love it.
And if we're too careful, we just kill comedy. And I think that's part of what's happened, and we've forgotten how therapeutic, like Chris said, how therapeutic comedy really is and how much we really need to laugh.
Yeah, it's interesting you mention that because Johnny Carson, the king of late night for 30 years, you didn't know whether the guy was a Republican or a Democrat because he made fun of both sides equally. Exactly. The comedy sketch that I remember, a lot of them I remember, but one of my favorites was where he was a politician hooked up to a lie detector. And, you didn't know the politician's political viewpoint was, but it was just, he was constantly lying, and every answer got a bop, because he was telling a lie. And it was just the most hilarious thing in the world.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even Jay Leno used to make fun of both sides equally. And when he retired from Tonight about 9 years ago, his audience was about 8 million total. And today, when he combined Fallon, Colbert, and Kimmel, the three of them together is just 6 million people. And it's just kind of hard to fathom, between the three of them, it's less than one audience that Leno had.
Wow.
The moment you can sniff out when you watch a film or TV show and you see a political agenda. And I don't care what side anyone is on. We need to remove agendas from films. It's killing it. It really is. Like, go back to the Chevy Chase days and all those films. Even Ernest Goes to Jail.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one thinking like, oh, well, they're trying to uphold the legal system and gun control. But no. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just watching a character go through something that's relatable. So I feel like we need to get back to that. We want to do that with our production company. This is Hard to Read. We want to bring comedies with heart, right?
Definitely.
Where you leave feeling that, with the joy in your heart, and not just, well, they all died and that's the end of the film, and put politics and it's over. No.
What it also does is it dates the production. Bob Newhart, I love him, and I've got his show on DVD the first couple of seasons, and over some of the episodes they have commentary from Bob as well as other cast members and writers like Jimmy Burrows and Jim Brooks, and Peter Bonners, who played Jerry the Dentist, was also on another production or another commentary, and he said, the great thing about the Bob Newhart show, there was no agenda. He said All in the Family had a political agenda, Mary Tyler Moore had a feminist agenda, but the Bob Newhart show, there was no agenda. It was basically 6 main characters. Yeah, they had their conflicts, they had their arguments, they had their foibles, but deep down they cared about each other.
Yeah.
Timeless.
Love it.
If A Christmas Story was based on a political time, or Christmas Vacation was based on a political time, it wouldn't be relatable now.
Mm-mm.
So that's why you want to avoid politics in sketches and films and all that stuff, because it's not. You want it to be timeless.
Yeah, Bob Newhart even said on another DVD, he said, there was a young writer that was on the show, and he said, hey, let's do a joke about Gerald Ford tripping. And Newhart said, yeah, that's funny, but in 10 years, people aren't going to have a clue what the hell you're talking about. And he was right, because when I was about 15, I was watching a first-run episode of Family Ties. It was an episode where Skippy, who usually liked Mallory, for some reason he liked another girl in this episode, and but the girl liked Alex instead. And so after numerous advances, Alex finally gave in and kissed the girl, and Skippy just happened to catch it. So he runs away, and then Alex goes to Skippy's house, and the first thing you see in Skippy's bedroom is a framed picture of President Ford. And the audience is laughing. And I said, Mom, how come they're laughing at the fact that Skippy has a picture of Gerald Ford? And my mom said, oh, because Gerald Ford was known as being a klutz. So I knew who Ford was, but I didn't know about the, several situations where he tripped during his presidential campaign. Now, tell us more about your improv club. And what was it about your Oddity Improv? What was missing from other improv classes that you've taken in the past that you want to bring to the performers that you teach?
Well, for me, I have taken classes just about every improv school you could think of. I wanted to do that because I wanted to see what was out there over the course of my entire acting career. And so I've taken UCB and Second City and Groundlings and all these different schools of thought. And they all have a little bit of a variation. But what stuck out to us and what we wanted to base our school and improv group on was really character-based improv, very grounded in real people, real characters that you would maybe see on the street, so that it can all be relatable. And so that's what really stuck out to us. And so Oddity Improv is character-based improv, and we'll be doing performances soon at the factory. And
basically, character-based improv means you don't rely on the story, because like we said, every story's been done.
Mm-hmm.
There's the hero, he fails, but then at the end he wins. That story is almost in every film, but what makes the film different, or what makes the sketch different, is the character. And so that's the most valuable, I think it's the most valuable training you can get as an actor, and the most valuable training you can get as a business person, which is a blanket statement for everyone.
Yeah, just anyone. It's really valuable and just really increases confidence. We're going to be doing kids classes as well, just because we've seen so many kids' confidence just soar through improv.
Well, and on top of that, if we say we want to focus on clean comedy, then people generally go, oh, then it's not funny. Mm-hmm. What we mean is we don't want to focus on grotesque comedy, right? Mm-hmm. People slip up, they say things, but we don't want to live in the vulgar world.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that means to you, we think it's smart. Smart comedy is Seinfeld, right? They touched on some things, but they never went disgusting. You know what I mean?
Never gross. It's never, super gross.
Relatable relatable comedy that doesn't stay in the nasty world.
Yeah, and you can find us. It's on oddityimprov.com is our website, and we're also on Instagram.
Yeah, and July 15th, we're having a quick drop-in. You can literally come take a 2-hour class for $25.
Hey, that's a great deal, folks.
Learn character, and it's a fun thing we're doing. So.
Yes, the website again is oddityimprov.com, and we're talking with Chris and Kelsey Guerra, or Kelsey Cook Guerra. I'm not sure how you are billed, but
either works.
Oh, that's good. And they're the stars of the brand new film Reopening, which just came out, a mockumentary. And also, Kelsey, you just directed the feature film. It's not out yet, called Back to Bridgewood, which is coming out soon. Tell us about that film.
Yeah, so my dear friend, Nakia Brees, she is an original Power Ranger. She is an amazing actress, and she just wrote and produced this film. It's her first ever feature that she did herself. And so she brought me on to direct and help her produce. And we started this in February, and we're just about to wrap up editing. We had to do some reshoots the last couple of weeks, and we shot it in Los Angeles. And we are going to be shopping it around for distribution.
And it's a touching story.
It is. It's an inspirational comedy about a big star in Hollywood who has an accident and is forced to go back to her hometown to really revisit who she is. And she finds out that she's not really a great person. And so she learns how to be a better person and what really matters.
Yeah.
That's great. And so now, again, you've got distribution for Reopening right now at the Blaze TV. Is that where you can find the film, or how do we find the film?
Yeah, you can find it actually at watchreopening.com. If you go directly to watchreopening.com, you can stream it from right there.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people will say, like, oh, no, I don't want to get more subscriptions. Like, well, just try it for a month and then stay on or cancel. Yeah. Do whatever you need to do.
Just like any other subscription service.
Yeah.
And any other opportunities to distribute to other avenues and whatnot? Or is that kind of in the negotiation process?
That's in their hands, yeah. Blaze has the rights to the film now. This is it was just an acquisition by them.
But we have talked to them about eventually doing a screening out here in Franklin or Nashville, and they seem very excited about that. So I'm sure if you follow us on social media,
stay tuned.
You can keep up to date with that.
Okay, and the social media site for you guys, you're on all the major social media. I think you've got about 750,000 followers plus on TikTok. And then what's the website again for your production company? This is Hard to Read Productions?
This is hardtoreadproductions.com.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Making comedies with heart, and it's even funny in the name.
Yeah, you can find our social media handles on there, and we do a lot of fun, silly wig character stuff and all that stuff. We're silly.
Chris went viral almost kind of accidentally over the pandemic, so that was the funny thing on TikTok.
Yeah, I reenact Facebook Marketplace selling nightmares. So I literally reenact their conversation, and I went from 1 follower to almost 800,000 followers very quickly, because people like relatable comedy and nightmare entitled people, apparently.
I got one more question for you, since you live in Nashville now. What's your favorite barbecue place out there?
Ooh, that's hard. I feel like we don't have enough experience, so we'll probably get a lot of heat for this. But I
would say Denny's.
Oh gosh,
probably?
Stop it! No,
I'm kidding.
I'll say so far probably Martin's Barbecue has been my favorite.
Please, message us on Instagram or tell us where to go. I mean, we're still getting our feet wet out here.
I need suggestions.
Even though it's been a year, we're still getting settled, it feels like. So.
I went there. I tried Jack's Barbecue because a friend of mine suggested it, but I was like, it's okay, but not really like, oh my gosh, this is breathtaking. Then the next night I went with my friend and her daughters to Edley's Barbecue, and I love that.
Okay.
And they got a couple locations.
We'll put that on our list.
Yeah, it's Edleys, one word. And then I told the person at the car rental place the next day about that. He says, yeah, Edley's and Martin's are the 2 best barbecues in town.
Oh, nice.
Well, there you go.
So we're on the right track.
We're on the right track.
Yeah, great. So good to know that. Well, Chris and Kelsey Guerra, thank you for being with us here on the Talking Archive. Anything you want to add before we go?
No, Oh, thank you so much for everything. I appreciate it.
We just encourage, again, people to take an improv class.
Yeah, and I will say Oddity Improv is a nonprofit organization. We are filed with the state of Tennessee as a nonprofit. So we are going to be doing some events and stuff. So definitely go to our website to plug in and get a hold of our newsletter for more.
And again, that's oddityimprov.com, oddityimprov.com. And their production site is thisishardtoreadproductions.com. Thisishardtoreadproductions.com. It might be hard to write as well. But that's okay. Just DuckDuckGo or Google it. That would be much easier. And Chris and Kelsey, we look forward to talking to you again in the future, and best of much success to reopening as well as all your future endeavors.
Thank you
so much. Thanks for having us. Take care.